Muhammad Ali Pasha, the man destined to reshape Egypt, began his journey as an ordinary subject in the vast Ottoman Empire. Born in 1769 in the picturesque town of Kavala, in present-day Greece, his early years gave no hint of the monumental power he would one day command. Orphaned at a tender age, he was taken in by his uncle and soon found his calling in the Ottoman military. This fateful decision set him on a thrilling path, intertwining his destiny with the ancient land of Egypt. In 1798, the audacious invasion of Egypt by Napoleon Bonaparte plunged the region into chaos. The Ottoman Empire, desperate to expel the French, dispatched an army that included the ambitious Muhammad Ali and his fierce Albanian contingent. This expedition was a turning point, bringing him to the land he would one day rule with an iron fist. The power vacuum in Egypt, created by the French withdrawal and the crumbling Mamluk authority, presented a golden opportunity that Muhammad Ali seized with unmatched cunning. His meteoric rise through the ranks was fueled by his shrewdness, relentless ambition, and unparalleled military prowess. He deftly navigated the treacherous political landscape of Ottoman Egypt, forging alliances and outmaneuvering his rivals with masterful precision. By 1805, a mere 7 years after his arrival, he had ascended to the powerful position of Pasha, or Governor of Egypt. This marked the dawn of his reign, a period of profound and thrilling transformation for Egypt and its people. The Ottoman Empire in the late 18th and early 19th centuries was a complex and often unstable entity. The central authority of the Sultan in Constantinople was waning, challenged by powerful local rulers and factions within the empire. Egypt, a wealthy province of the empire, was no exception to this trend. The Mamluks, a warrior class of slave origin, had long held sway over Egypt, their power eclipsing that of the Ottoman governors. Muhammad Ali, upon his arrival in Egypt, recognized the precarious political landscape. He understood that to achieve lasting power, he needed to consolidate his authority and eliminate any potential threats. His strategy involved a shrewd combination of diplomacy, military strength, and ruthless pragmatism. He carefully cultivated relationships with powerful factions within Egypt, while simultaneously strengthening his own military forces. He played the Ottomans, the Mamluks, and the Egyptian elite against each other, exploiting their rivalries to his advantage. He presented himself as a loyal servant of the Sultan, all the while consolidating his own power base in Egypt. His ultimate goal was not merely to be another figurehead governor, but to establish himself as the undisputed ruler of Egypt, answerable to no one. The Mamluks, having dominated Egyptian politics for centuries, represented a significant obstacle to Muhammad Ali's ambition of absolute rule. Their military power and influence posed a constant threat to his authority. In 1811, Muhammad Ali decided to eliminate the Mamluks once and for all in a ruthless act that would come to define his rule. He invited the Mamluk leaders to a grand celebration at the Citadel of Cairo, ostensibly to celebrate a military victory. The unsuspecting Mamluks, clad in their finest attire, rode into the citadel, unaware of the trap that awaited them. As the procession entered a narrow passageway, Muhammad Ali's troops, positioned on the rooftops, opened fire. The massacre lasted for days, with hundreds of Mamluks slaughtered within the citadel walls and throughout Cairo. The massacre effectively ended the Mamluks' centuries-old dominance in Egypt, solidifying Muhammad Ali's grip on power. While a brutal act, the massacre paved the way for Muhammad Ali's ambitious reforms, as he was now free from the constraints of Mamluk influence and could reshape Egypt according to his own vision. With the Mamluks vanquished, Muhammad Ali turned his attention to modernizing Egypt. He understood that for Egypt to become a strong and independent state, it needed to undergo radical transformations in its military, economy, and education system. Inspired by the advancements he had witnessed in Europe, he embarked on an ambitious program of reforms, seeking to bring Egypt into the modern world. His first priority was the army. He established a new military force, trained along European lines and equipped with modern weapons. He recruited soldiers not only from the traditional Turkish and Albanian communities, but also from the Egyptian peasantry, a radical departure from the past. He established military schools and academies, inviting European instructors to train his officers in modern warfare techniques. Beyond the military, Muhammad Ali implemented sweeping reforms in education and the economy. He established new schools and institutions of higher learning, focusing on science, mathematics, and engineering. He sent promising young Egyptians to study abroad in Europe, hoping they would bring back valuable knowledge and skills. Muhammad Ali's ambitions extended beyond Egypt's borders. He envisioned a vast empire encompassing large swaths of the Middle East, challenging the Ottoman Empire's authority. His modernized army, now a formidable force, provided him with the means to pursue these ambitions. He launched a series of military campaigns, expanding his control south into Sudan, east into Arabia, and north into Syria and Anatolia. In 1820, he dispatched his son Ibrahim Pasha to conquer Sudan. The Egyptian army, equipped with modern firearms and artillery, easily overwhelmed the Sudanese forces. The conquest of Sudan brought vast territories rich in resources under Egyptian control, further bolstering Muhammad Ali's power and wealth. His military campaigns brought him into direct conflict with the Ottoman Empire. In 1831, his son Ibrahim Pasha led the Egyptian army into Syria, quickly conquering the province and advancing into Anatolia. The Egyptian successes alarmed the European powers, particularly Great Britain, who feared the collapse of the Ottoman Empire and the rise of a powerful Egyptian state that could threaten their interests in the region. Section 6. The Price of Power, European Encroachment and Hereditary Rule. Muhammad Ali's military successes, while initially expanding his power, ultimately sowed the seeds for his decline. His ambition had outstripped his resources, and his victories had attracted the attention of European powers, who viewed his growing influence with suspicion. The Ottoman Empire, unable to defeat Muhammad Ali's forces alone, appealed to the European powers for assistance. Great Britain, fearing the consequences of a weakened Ottoman Empire and the disruption of the balance of power in the region, intervened decisively on the side of the Ottomans. British naval and military support proved crucial in halting the Egyptian advance in Syria and Anatolia. In 1840, facing overwhelming European pressure, Muhammad Ali was forced to agree to the Convention of London. The treaty stripped Muhammad Ali of his conquests in Syria and Anatolia, reducing his territories to Egypt and Sudan. In exchange for his acquiescence, the European powers granted him hereditary rule over Egypt, a significant concession that ensured the continuation of his dynasty. While a setback, the treaty marked a turning point in Egyptian history. Section 7. A Mixed Legacy, Progress, and Its Discontents. Muhammad Ali's reign was a period of unprecedented transformation for Egypt. His reforms modernized the army, stimulated economic growth, and introduced Western education and technology to the country. He broke the centuries-old dominance of the Mamluks and established a centralized modern state. His ambitious public works projects, such as the construction of canals, irrigation systems, and factories, transformed the Egyptian landscape and laid the groundwork for future economic development. However, his achievements came at a cost. His ambitious military campaigns and grand projects placed a heavy burden on the Egyptian people. Forced conscription into the army and heavy taxation fueled resentment among the population. His efforts to industrialize Egypt, while well-intentioned, were often implemented through coercive measures, leading to the exploitation of Egyptian labor. Moreover, his reliance on European advisors and his adoption of Western models of governance, while modernizing Egypt, also sowed the seeds of dependence and ultimately limited Egypt's ability to chart its own course. His reign, therefore, left a mixed legacy, a legacy of progress and modernization, but also one of authoritarianism, exploitation, and increasing European influence over Egyptian affairs. Section 8. The End of an Era, the Fall of the Muhammad Ali Dynasty. Despite the setbacks of the late 1830s and early 1840s, Muhammad Ali's dynasty continued to rule Egypt for over a century after his death in 1849. His successors, while lacking his vision and drive, maintained his system of governance and continued his efforts to modernize Egypt. However, the dynasty faced growing internal and external challenges. Internally, the Egyptian people, burdened by heavy taxation and increasingly aware of the disparities in wealth and power, grew increasingly restless under the rule of the Muhammad Ali dynasty. Externally, Egypt's dependence on European powers, particularly Great Britain, grew stronger as the country struggled to repay the debts incurred during Muhammad Ali's reign. In 1882, Britain occupied Egypt ostensibly to protect its interests in the Suez Canal, but in reality, establishing a protectorate that lasted until 1922. The Muhammad Ali dynasty remained in place, but their authority was greatly diminished. In 1952, a group of nationalist military officers, led by Gamal Abdel Nasser, overthrew the last king of the Muhammad Ali dynasty, King Farouk, ending the dynasty's 153-year rule. Section 9. Conclusion. Muhammad Ali's enduring impact on Egypt. Muhammad Ali Pasha's legacy is complex and contested. He was a ruthless ruler who did not hesitate to use violence and coercion to achieve his goals. His reforms, while modernizing Egypt, often came at a high cost to the Egyptian people. However, he was also a visionary leader who transformed Egypt from a backward Ottoman province into a modernizing state. He challenged the established order, defying both the Ottoman Empire and European powers. His efforts to modernize the army, introduce Western education and technology, and develop the Egyptian economy laid the groundwork for Egypt's emergence as a modern nation-state. His reign marked a turning point in Egyptian history, a period of profound transformation that continues to shape the country to this day. While his dynasty eventually fell, his legacy as the founder of modern Egypt remains secure.